Growth is being afraid but doing it anyway. Okay, hello Twitch. I am here to do some Codewars and then maybe to talk about Class 1 from 100 Devs that I just watched yesterday. So let's just get right into it. Next up challenge. Convert Boolean values to strings yes or no. Complete the method that takes a Boolean value and return a yes string for a true or a no string for false. So in this function, I know I'm going to need to return something. Let's put in a placeholder that just says yes. Dude, is it double quotes or single quotes in JavaScript? And I know I will need an if statement, so I'll start by writing if condition and then my braces. And now I kind of see how this can come together. If the condition is true, return yes. And if the condition is not true, then return no. The only question is, what is the condition? Well, they gave us that in the argument to this function, so it's just bool. If bool, return yes. I could put an else statement here, but that would be redundant because this return would already handle exiting the function. Let's test and attempt. Impressive, it says. I like that. Okay, I'm curious to see the other submitted solutions to this one. Okay, a ternary statement. Let's review ternary statements, because I think they're a little bit not very intuitive to read. Conditional ternary operator. The conditional ternary operator is the only JavaScript operator that takes three operands: a condition followed by a question mark, then an expression to execute if the condition is truthy, followed by a colon, and finally the expression to execute if the condition is falsy. This operator is frequently used as an alternative to an if-else statement. So we have this this is member is a little bit hard to read on my screen. But get fee as a function of isMember. If isMember is true, it returns $2. If isMember is false, it returns $10. Let's look at how that worked over here. Function bool to word as a function of bool. Return bool, so there's the condition, there's the question mark, here's the true case, here's the colon, here's the false case. Okay, any questions on that before I move to another kata? Let's move forward. Find maximum and minimum values of a list. Your task is to make two functions, max and min, or maximum and minimum, etc., depending on the language, that receive a list of integers as input and return, respectively, the largest and lowest number in that list. Notes: you may consider that there will not be any empty arrays vectors. So for examples, I'll just read the first one: 4, 6, 2, 1, 9, 63, minus 134, 566. Let's train. Oh, I like how they gave us some stubs here. Hey, Fennier, I hope I said that right. Thanks for that follow. Now, I think I want to do a list.for each, and because my JavaScript is a little iffy, let's check out the MDN on for each. Okay, so this has us using an arrow function. I'm just going to copy that over. Fennier says hi. Hi, Fennier. Am I saying that right? I hope I'm saying that close to right. Let's make this larger. The view got a little mixed up. So, following this syntax, element goes to, we have Winwell MGA waves. Hello. Now, this is where I'd like to have some more information about the inputs to the function, because the way I know to calculate a minimum is to start with a large value for the minimum. Let's go on in this new line. Let's just write it as a large value for now, and we'll decide what that value is later. Because my thinking is, if element is less than the minimum, then the min equals element. So if we compare this to an example input, if we start with, say, 1,000 as a large value, let me delete this. If we start with 1,000 as a large value, then we come with the element 4. And if 4 is less than 1,000, then the minimum now equals 4. So you see how it's important to choose a reasonable value here. And it looks like these are all integers. So what's the largest possible integer in JavaScript? Oh, there's a max safe integer constant. Neat, I'll just use that. Again, it's a little funny to start with a maximum number when we're calculating a minimum, but the logic does work out, I think. now we just return the min. And let's test this, even though I've only implemented half of the functions. Uh-oh. Can I wrap this in braces to make it like it better? Okay, we're gonna fall back on some different way of doing this. Sorry, I'm moving a little fast here. I want to get back to the part where it looks like I know what I'm doing. That's why I'm trying to move quickly. Element is not defined. Oh, yeah, right. Element equals list I. Expected for to equal 566. That's because looks like it passed the two minimum examples, and now we need to get max. Okay, I'm done with that. I'm gonna just copy all of this code because it's a similar idea. I'm gonna assume that we can follow the same pattern here. We start with the minimum safe integer. If element is greater than the max, then the max equal element, return the max. Okay, there we have it. But I think it would be valuable for me to slow down and explain my thinking again. So I'm just going to rewrite this last function, and I'm going to start with a test value for the maximum, and let's make a guess that the maximum is going to be something. And for that guess, let's use the smallest number we can think of. That way, even if it's a lot of very negative numbers, it'll still work out okay. Next, I want a for loop. I equals 0. We're gonna start with I equal to 0. We're gonna continue as long as I is less than list.length, and we're gonna be I equals plus 1 at the end of every iteration. If I can get my words out. Now we pull element out of the list using element equals list at index I, and we do a condition if element is greater than the max. So let's imagine that we had like minus 3200 and then minus 200 and then so on. This is gonna pull out minus 3200 minus 3200, and this is gonna compare minus 3200 to number.minimum safe integer. And what is minimum safe integer? I think it's around like minus 2 million, or is it 2 billion? The idea is it's a significantly large negative number. So minus 3200 is going to be greater, and comment that out. So now we have a new maximum. We say the max equal element, and at the end of that for loop we just return the max. I think I can zoom out maybe one button. I think it'll still be visible. Okay, well, clean up these. I'll leave the comments in, why not? Okay, and attempt. Okay, submit. Let's see what we have for answers here. I wonder if someone just called a minimum function. Okay, math.minimum. Fair enough. Oh, interesting. This person used a sort and then returned 0th element. You know, I don't know if that a comma b going to a minus b is actually necessary there, because they're integers. So I think they have, you know, I kind of want to test that, pardon me. Well, let's just scroll down and see if anyone else did it that way. I don't know what this math.min.apply of null comma list. Oh, maybe null is a default. I may come back to that and try to study that, or I may not. Return math.min, yeah. Oh, that's a more sensible default. I like this way of writing it. So look what they did here. They started, although, is it weird that they have a variable? Also, I think let is more fashionable than var at this point, right? Anyway, what do they set their minimum to? They set it to the first value in the list. That's even better than the way I did it. But otherwise it's very similar. You have the for loop, you have current is list at I, and this is an interesting syntax, doing it all on one line. If current less than minimum, minimum equal current. But it's just tripping me up that minimum is the name of the function, but min is also, excuse me, min is the name of the function, but min is also the name of a variable within a function. And I guess with scoping it probably works out okay, but it makes me a little bit nervous. Huh, this is like a blended approach from two we've seen before. I want to try sorting it without, although when I was reading about sort the other day, it said it would use the string representation for comparison, which is actually not what you want if you want to sort them by integer values. So that would probably not work. I'm going to train again and just try it. So again, I'm calling sort, but I'm not telling it how to sort. And the default behavior is to sort on the string representation. So this should give wrong answers. Yeah, it's all mixed up. The minus sign is greater than any of the other things, so it mixes it up. Okay, anyway. We'll go back. Go to the next one. 8Q, will you make it? That's you were camping with your friends far away from home, but when it's time to go back, you realize that your fuel is running out and the nearest pump is 50 miles away. You know that on average, your car runs about 25 miles per gallon. There are 2 gallons left. To consider these factors, write a function that lets you know if it's possible to get to the pump or not. Functions should return true or 1 in certain languages, if it is possible, and false, 0 in certain languages. If not, the input arrays are always positive. Okay, we'll train. So let's, as an example, 50 miles to pump, 25 miles per gallon, 2 gallons left. Oh, hello, Sammy. You want me to say hi? Blocking my camera over there. Good kitty. So in this case, to work through the example by hand, we have 25 miles per gallon and 2 gallons. It was 50. And 50 is greater than or equal to, or the 50 miles to the pump is less than or equal to the 50 less than equal to 50 miles we can go. So let possible miles equal mpg times fuel left if possible miles greater than or equal to distance to pump. I can use that syntax I saw on the other line. We're probably supposed to use semicolons. I'll type it out. With an else, return false. Okay, let's test. Let's delete my scratch work. Looks good. Okay. And let's see a much shorter solution here. Interesting, we got a division. We got a division here and a multiplication here. And we have also calculation that resolves to a Boolean, ending up being the thing that gets returned. So that shortens what needs to be written quite a bit. So that's cool. Let's see here, we've got time for another one before it's break time. Okay, 8Q, think full, logic drills, traffic light. You're writing code to control your town's traffic lights. You need a function to handle each change from green to yellow to red and to green again. Complete the function that takes a string argument representing the current state of the light and returns a string representing the state the light should change to. Note, use double quote, instead of single quote in C++. Well, we're not using C++. Train. So I could write, if, and so on, but I think I could also write a case statement. So let's check out MDN case statement, or switch statement. So looking at the example here, the switch statement evaluates an expression matching the expression's value to a case clause and executes the statements associated with that case as well as statements in cases that follow the matching case. So constant expression equals papayas, switch expression, case oranges, and so on. So, oops. Okay, there we're back. I already forgot the syntax. Let's copy this example down. So expression is the current. We can say switch. Oops, switch current, haha. Case, we'll have a case red. We'll have a case yellow. We'll have a case green. And for each of these, we need a console.log. Actually, we don't need a console.log. We'll need a return and a break. Although the return maybe makes the break statement redundant, I'm not sure. So red goes to green. I'm going to try writing it without the break statements because I figure I have the return statements. Yellow goes to red. Green goes to yellow. I think I've got one too many of these braces. Run a test on that. Looks good. Again, I didn't have to include the break statement because the return covers that. Let's see what we have here. A nested ternary statement. I think that's more clever than best practice. Let's see what they did. Return current equal yellow. question mark, then either red or evaluate this case, current equal green, question mark yellow, otherwise green. Whew. That's not a very fun one to read. Oh look, there's the sand timer. So it's time to hit my mic there. Time for a quick break. Little stream break. Maybe I'll make some tea while I'm on the BRB screen. Okay, that's that for that timer. Let's get back into it. Set another 30-minute sand timer. And let's move on to a new kata. Twice as old. Your function takes two arguments: current father's age in years, current age of his son in years. Calculate how many years ago the father was twice as old as his son, or in how many years he will be twice as old. So we've got to do some algebra and maybe some conditional logic. What do we have here? So, dad years old 36, son years old 7. So if I think back to my algebra, we have simultaneous equations. We have 36 plus y equals 2, y for year equals 2 times 7 plus y. Oh, my cat is talking. Hello, Sammy. What is your story? What is his story? So if I rearrange this around, we get 36 subtract 2 times 7, and then we get 2y minus y. Two y minus y, which is just y. Oh, meow. Hey, there you are. Hey, Sammy. Can they see you? He's kind of small in the picture. Let's bring him into the webcam. Hey, Sammy. Sitting right behind me. See him there? Just chilling out. Just being a cat. No big deal. Rascal 2, hey, fire. Seen a bunch of timers, first hourglass I've seen though. Yeah, isn't it nice? I actually got this idea off of Dorian Develops. He had a pair of these on his desk in one of his videos, and I was like, oh my gosh, Pomodoro timers, but physical hourglass ones? That I need to get. And I feel like my mic is kind of getting a little hot. So let's back it off just slightly. But Rascal 2, thanks for dropping in. I've seen your stream a few times. Yeah, so I don't well you'll see it eventually. Once this big one runs out, I've got a smaller one. It's this is what the smaller one looks like. It's like 30 minutes for the big one and 5 minutes for the small one. Okay. So in this case, it's as simple as if that was the only consideration, we could just return dad years old minus 2 times son years old. But I'm guessing, let's just test it and see how it fails. Can I just do absolute value? I don't even have to think. I can just throw an absolute value. If that's the right. Do I need math for absolute value? Let's test it. Okay. MDN JavaScript absolute value. Math.absolute. Do I have to import math, or is it just there for me? I'm kind of in Python world still, where you have to import math. So I thought I was going to have to write conditionals, and like if, you know, the son is older than half the father's age, then we would need to do a different one. But just absolute value, and you know, the absolute value has a conditional baked into it, because if this result is negative, then absolute value takes the opposite of it. But if it's positive, then absolute value doesn't change it. Doesn't change the value at all. Okay. Way to let the computer do the work for me. I'm interested to see what kind of solutions will come out here. You have ranked up to 7Q in JavaScript. Nifty. Math.absolute dad years old minus 2 times son years old. That looks a lot like my solution. Math.abs d minus 2 times s, that's, you know, same idea. And here, this is interesting. This shows you the conditional logic. So instead of putting that logic in the absolute value, notice that a minus 2b is the opposite of 2 times b minus a. And this conditional with the expression a greater than 2 times b decides which of these two to use. That is interesting. Okay, next kata. Count by x. Create a function with 2 arguments that will return an array of the first n multiples of x. Assume the first n multiples of x. Okay, multiples. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Assume both the given number and the number of times the count will be positive numbers greater than 0. Return the results as an array or list in Python, Haskell, or Elixir. Okay, let's train. I'm sure I could do something like for each. Actually, no, I can't do for each because I'm not given I'm not given an input list. But what I can do is write a standard for loop for I starting at 0. Let's see, which is the first n multiple. So I think if I write less than n, we'll get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, n minus 1. And I++, so we're going up by 1. I'll start with multiple equals 1 because that's the I'll explain it once I write the code, because I can only think hard enough to write the code right now. You know, we're gonna do, yeah, this is fine. Multiple times equals x, c dot push multiple. So at every time we multiply it by x, on the let's look at the 2 and 5 case to check that this logic makes sense. On the first iteration, we'll have 1 times 2 equals 2. And on the second iteration, we'll have oh, nope. We need to do addition here. I was trying to be too clever. So 0 plus 2 gives us 2. And the next time, 2 plus 2 equals 4. Because what is multiplication but just repeated addition? Okay, test that. Looks good. But I think I'm going to do this in a different way. Because the alternate way we could do this is to say that multiple equals I times x. And we can let multiple, and we don't need to give it any value because we're giving it a new value on every row. So on the first one, we have 1 times 2 equals 2. The next time we have 2 times 2 equals 4, and so on. I'm not sure which of these two solutions I like better, but I'm going to go with the one that I have on the text editor right now. Okay, attempt. Sounds good. Submit. Let's see what we've got. Z.push x times I makes sense. I is 1, I less than or equal to n, I plus plus. Let's see, what about array.from xn arrow array.from length colon n v comma k arrow k plus 1 times x. Let's look at array.from on MDN. The array.from static method creates a new shallow copied array instance from an array-like or iterable object. Where'd the array object? This is doing something tricky. Length colon n. So it's this right here seems to be creating an object. Oh, and you know what? This is probably element and index. Okay. V for element, K for index. Index plus 1 times X. Huh. That's kind of neat. I'll give that a clever. Count by Wonder if anyone did the same idea there. Oh, this is interesting. Variable I equal x, I less than equal to x times n, I plus equals x. That's kind of doing what I was trying to do with the adding x each time. And then you could just write z.push I. I'll give that a clever. Count by xn. While z.length less than n. Oh, well, that's interesting. Z.push x times z.length plus 1. Oh, so use the length of the array as a hint of what to add to it. That's kind of neat. I'm looking for... okay, oh, loading more solutions. There we go. Yeah, it's all I times x. I think I'm going to retrain and do this the way that I first thought of. For I equals 0, I less than n, I plus plus, paren brace, let multiple equals 0, multiple plus equal x, z.push multiple. Alright, same idea, so that worked. Submit that one. If it even matters. Beginner series number 2, clock. Clock shows H hours, M minutes, and S seconds after midnight. Your task is to write a function which returns the time since midnight in milliseconds. Okay. So oh, happy coding, smiley face. I like that. This feels like time to go for a one-line solution. So I want 1000, because we're talking milliseconds, times seconds, plus minutes times 60, plus hours times 60 times 60. That should do it. Yep. Okay, I don't need to refactor. This is the same idea, although they wrote out 3600 instead of 60 times 60. That's valid. I guess it's inefficient to calculate. Like, what did I do? 60 times, it's probably inefficient to calculate that 60 times 60 each time. Okay, cool. That was that one. This music is making me groove out. Almost losing myself. But let's keep training. Can you find the needle in a haystack? Write a function find needle that takes an array full of junk by containing one needle. After your function finds the needle, it should return a message as a string that says found the needle at position plus the index it found the needle. So find needle, hey, junk, hey, more junk, needle, random junk. Should return found needle at position 5. In COBOL, found the needle at position 6. Oh, COBOL index is from 1, huh? Huh. So this would probably be a nice option, a nice opportunity to use for each syntax, but I don't know how to get the index out of that. So we're gonna fall back on a simple for loop. We'll have to do a +1 in here somewhere. No, we won't. Haystack at position I triple equals. What is the, just needle, right? Needle. Is it, are we ever gonna not find the needle? I think we're always gonna find the needle. Array full of junk but containing one needle. Yeah, I think we can assume that it's always gonna contain the needle. Now, if this was Python, I would say plus string of I, but I don't know if that's valid in JavaScript. Let's test it though. Oh, also, in JavaScript, conditionals need to be wrapped in parentheses. String is not defined. What if I just plus I and let it figure out typing? That works. Don't forget the semicolon. I'll be interested to see some of the solutions here. Oh, haystack.indexOf. There's an indexOf method. Give that a best practice. Oh, wow. What are we doing with the alphabet? Throw new error, this shouldn't happen. What on earth am I reading? The length of the array containing elements for which to retrieve the length from. Ugh. It's making my head hurt. We'll just move on past this one. Haystack.indexOf, sure. These are all haystack.indexOf until we get down to this one. Oh, while. And then I++ is written down here on its own. Huh. That's interesting. That I++ is important because otherwise you've got an infinite loop here. Excuse me. Okay. What is this? This is... Oh, needle.join empty. Oh my gosh. FOUND space the space. That is just silly. That is just silly. 8q, sum without highest and lowest number. Sum all the numbers of a given array q list except the highest and lowest element by value, not by index. The highest or lowest element respectively is a single element at each edge, even if there is more than one with the same value. Mind the input validation. Okay, train. So I'm thinking we sort with a comparison function a, b going to a minus b. Then is sum defined in JavaScript, or is it math.sum? Maybe it's math.sum. And if it's anything like Python, I can go 1:(-1). So it starts at element 1 and ends at the last element, but that's exclusive of that position. So it's, yeah. Okay, I need to look up slice JavaScript MD and slice notation. Okay. Animals.slice 2, -1, except I want 1. Array.slice 1, -1. Cannot read property sort of null. Oh yeah, I have to validate our input. So what are we supposed to return? Okay, fine. If paren array equals null, or array.length equals 0, return 0. Also, I forgot to return this math.sum test. Math.sum is not a function. How about just sum? Probably gonna say sum is not defined. Okay, what else can we do for this? MDN sum. The reduce method creates a use-supplied reducer callback function on each element of the array in order, passing the return value from the calc. Let's just look at an example. I copy this into here. Return array dot slice dot reduce with previous comma reduce with previous comma current going to previous less current starting at 0. Surprised there isn't just a sum method that we can use, but okay. All tests passed. Neat. Uh-oh. Cannot read property length of undefined. Ah. Okay, or array equal undefined or array.length equals 0. Let's try that. That's better. And hey, there's the timer. So let's quickly look at if you do array double equal null, it covers the undefined case. That's interesting. Okay. Time for BRB screen with the smaller Pomodoro hourglass timer. Where do I get there? Yeah, right there. Okay, we're getting back into it. The only question is, what are we getting back into? I could do some more Codewars, or I could go over my notes from class 1. Although it's a little bit silly that I have notes at all, because one of the lessons from class 1 was don't take notes. Go figure, right? But let's do another round of Codewars. Next one. AQ count of positive sum of negatives. Given an array of integers, return an array where the first element is the count of positive numbers and the second element is sum of negative numbers. 0 is neither positive nor negative. If an array is an empty array or null, return an empty array. This will be a good chance for me to practice my for each. Return question mark. That's cute. Input.for each. And now let's... Can I search on here? Array.prototype.for each. For each method executes a provided function once for each element of the array. Let's do some more advanced syntax, parameters, description. Arrow function for each element index, for each element index array. We'll do element going to we can try element greater than 0 question mark count positive equals 0 sum negative equals 0. Count positive, that equals 1. Otherwise, element less than 0, question mark, sum negative plus equals element. Otherwise, what do I say to do nothing? In Python, I would write pass. But here, console.log hello, if in doubt, hello world. Okay, did I get my syntax wrong? I feel like I don't understand how for each is supposed to work. JavaScript 5:16. For each calls a provided callback function once for each element in an array in ascending ordinate order. It is not invoked for index properties that have been deleted or uninitialized. I don't think that uninitialized or deleted is going to be relevant in my case. The range of elements processed by for each is set before the first invocation of callback function. I don't think that matters here. So what am I doing that makes it think that I'm trying to turn for each into a function? Okay, let's simplify this. Console.log element and comment out these lines. Oh, well, for one thing, we don't want to return that. Maybe the return was the problem. No, that wasn't the problem. Huh. Oh. For each. Capital E. Casing. Of course for each is not a function if I spell it wrong. Oh, that kind of hurts. Alright. Okay, what does it want for the output? Oh, return an array. How do you declare an array? I think it's just square brackets. Then the elements. Okay, test. Got him. Although I don't love that there's this hello logging in place. What if I just leave this blank? I feel like that's gonna cause an error. Yeah. I don't think pass is gonna work either because that's a Python thing. What if I just put count pause there? That's a hack, but I gotta. Okay, if input double equal null, because we learned that recently. Return 0, 0. Test again. Attempt again. Oh. I guess I'm supposed to return just an empty list. If it equals null or length. No. Input dot length equals 0. Return that empty list. Attempt now. Unexpected identifier. Or. We have or. Okay. Attempt. There we go. Let's get that timer where you can see it a little better. It's interesting that the first result is so long. Usually you get short ones. Well, here's the short one. Return input and input.length question mark. Oh, that's checking for it's null or its length 0. Input.filter. Wow, got a lot going on. After the colon is the empty array, which is what you return when either input is null or input.length is 0, which is falsy. Okay, that makes sense. Otherwise, we do input.filter p array 0, and those get placed on the first and second positions of an array. Cool. I kind of want to see if I can remember that well enough to train again on this one and write it out. So it was return input and input.length question mark, input.filter p is greater than 0 dot length, input.filter n is less than 0 dot reduce a comma b goes to a plus b comma 0. Here we go. Let's do some active recall. Return input and input.length question mark something colon empty array, and the something was an array with input.reduce filter p going to p greater than 0 dot length. That's the number of positive ones. Then input.filter on p arrow p less than 0 dot reduce a comma b arrow a plus b with starting value 0, and close the array. I think that's it. I think I've got it. Yeah, it works. Okay, submit. Also, I know I'm not on to the hour timer break, but I'm thirsty, so I'm going to grab a drink of water and be right back to it. Okay, let's do a next kata. Calculate average. Write a function which calculates the average of the numbers in a given list. gonna do this real simple. Math dot sum of array divided by array dot length. Boom, that should do it. Math.sum is not a function. I think I saw this before. Okay, fine. Array.reduce a comma b arrow function a plus b start at 0. There. Happy? I need to return. And I wonder if I have to think about, like, invalid inputs. Well, let's find out. Okay, that works. This trick again, array and array.length, question mark, otherwise 0. There's the semicolon. Delete that semicolon. End attempt. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna take a moment and talk about how I did that there. How do I make this bigger? Right there. So I had my answer, which was just this much, which is array.reduce with a and b arrow function to a plus b starting at 0. Take that divided by array.length. But then I got into trouble because I needed to handle that array was undefined or array had length of 0. So this checks whether array is truthy, and if it is truthy, in other words, if it's not null or not undefined, then it checks the length, and if the length is truthy, in other words, if the length is 1 or greater, then this whole thing evaluates to true, and in the ternary statement, we execute this code. But if either of these conditions are not truthy, then it just returns 0 and calls it a day. Okay. Submit. TV Josh, hello, says keep going. BBL. What is BBL? Let's see what we got. This covers the 0 condition first. I don't know what they mean by ACC and IND, but it's, just think of that as A and B goes to A plus B with the start of 0 divided by array.length. So that's pretty similar there. Oh, we've got a standard for loop. Nice. All right, let's keep going. Is he going to survive? A hero is on his way to the castle to complete his mission. However, he's been told the castle is surrounded with a couple of powerful dragons. Each dragon takes 2 bullets to be defeated. Our hero has no idea how many bullets he should carry. Assuming he's going to grab a specific number of bullets or move forward to fight another specific dragon, will he survive? So it comes down to, is it just return bullets divide by 2? That's not the correct syntax for integer divide. I think I have to be more careful than what I'm writing here. but let's see. .print, console.log. See which case this one messed up. Oh, greater than or equal to dragons. Oh, that was easy. All right, submit. Oops, I left my console.log statement there. That was kind of unnecessary. Oh, I like this better. Multiply the dragons times 2 to find the number of bullets we need and see if the bullets are greater than or equal to the dragons. Same idea here. This is kind of a redundant ternary statement, right? Because if this is true, it gives true. If this is false, it gives false. So we could have just written this and left out all of this. Same story here. We have the condition. If this condition is true, it returns true. If this condition is false, it returns false. So it would have been simpler to just return this condition. Alright, moving forward. Century from year. Introduction. The first century spans from year 1 up to and including year 100. The second century from year 101 up to and including the year 200, etc. Given year, return what century it is in. Let's train. It's trying to do unbalanced parentheses syntax highlighting for me. That's cute. Okay. Kind of blanking on this one. I could use a hint from the chat. I think if I take year minus 1, then all of a sudden we have 0 up to 99 being 100. Divide by 100. Return year minus 1 divided by 100. Is it that simple? Maybe if we do math at ceiling. Capital math. Testing for 1601. Is it not year minus 1? The edge cases are going to get me, I just know it. Oh. Okay, fine. Yeah, the popular answer is math.ceil year divided by 100. Again, the computer kind of did the work for me on that one. I didn't have to think about it. That's nice. Let's do the next one. Okay, highest profit wins. Story. Ben has a very simple idea to make some profit. He buys something and sells it again. Of course, this wouldn't give him any profit at all if he was simply to buy and sell at the same price. Instead, he's going to buy for the lowest price and sell it at the highest. Write a function that returns both the minimum and maximum number of the given list array. So for min-max of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives 1 and 5. Following patterns I've seen earlier today, I can do array.sort with a comma b, arrow a minus b, and return array at 0. Do we want minimum then maximum? Yeah, we do. Array at -1, and let's handle if array double equals null, return, I don't know what it wants me to return in that case. We'll just do 0, 0. See if that even comes up. Uh-oh. But has slice it at -1. So array at -1 is undefined. Let's slice -1 at 0. This can't be right. But there's got to be a better way than having to do a slice and then take the 0 element. Well, okay. You can always do math.min and math.max. Oh, a at a.length -1. That's the way to do that. That operation. We got time for a next one. Mumbling. This time, no story, no theory. The examples below show you how to write the function accum. A, B, C, D goes to A dash B, B dash C, C, C dash D, D, D. Okay. Array equal S dot split. An empty string. And for, I'm going to think in terms of just basic lists here, basic for loops here. For let, you know what? I've been clumsy about my let, and it's just been letting me, not write let statements, or let keywords, I guess. Yeah, it's a keyword. For let I equals 0, I less than AR dot length. Plus, except for convenience, I'm going to set I equal 1 and say I less than equal to array.length. Am I? No, I'm not, because I still want to be able to use I as the index for the array. Oops, there's that timer. I'm going to respect the timer and go on to break time. And in the chat, let me know, viewers, if you'd rather see some more of Codewars or hear me chat about my takeaways from Leon's first class of 100 devs. Well, viewers, I just realized that Leon is holding office hours for 100 devs, and that started about 30 minutes ago. So I don't know what y'all are doing watching me when you could be watching Leon. So I'm gonna throw down a raid onto Leon's channel, and let's all go watch over there, because I want to see what's going on there. So let's do the raid. All right. Thanks all for watching. Enjoy Leon's channel.
If you're doing 100 devs, probably because you should be going deep, not wide. We have so many projects that you should be building here. People that follow the build this app tutorials, they like a lot of times I've seen them where they don't actually walk away learning anything because they didn't actually push themselves to learn. They just copy and pasted and called it a day. If you're going to follow this kinds of tutorials, you really have to like stop, write it out all yourself, delete it, write it out all yourself again. Can you do it without them walking you through it? Do you understand what's happening kind of in each chunk of your code?